Completing the square 1. To complete the square means to write a quadratic expression in the form given here, where a, b, and c are numbers. For example, all of these expressions below are written in completed square form. To understand how to complete the square, you first need to understand how to square a bracket. Remember that squaring a bracket just means multiplying it by itself. So if we had x plus b here inside the bracket, and that whole bracket was squared, we could multiply that like this. So I've got x plus b times x plus b. And if I expand that, I get x squared plus bx plus another bx plus b squared. So that's where this 2bx term comes from. I've got two lots of plus bx from the expansion. Now, the first step in these problems when you're completing the square is to take a quadratic and look at the x squared term and the x term and put that into a completed square form first, and then deal with the number later. So to do that, this is all you need to know. And if I want to have x squared plus bx by itself, I can just take off the b squared from both sides. So I end up with x squared plus 2bx equals x plus b all squared minus b squared. So now we'll look at some examples of how to use this. So here I want to write the following expression in completed square form. And the expression is x squared plus 8x plus 3. Now, as I said before, the first thing I want to look at is the x squared plus 8x. And I'm going to use this rule about squaring brackets. So my x squared plus 2bx is going to be my x squared plus 8x over here. So if my 2b is equal to 8, then b will be equal to 4. So I can start out by writing x plus 4 inside the bracket, all squared. And then I need to subtract b squared. So I need to subtract the 4 squared. Now, as this is the first example, let's expand this out just to check that it's all working. So x plus 4 all squared is x plus 4 times x plus 4. So that's x squared plus 4x plus 16. And that makes x squared plus 8x plus 16. And so subtracting the 4 squared, or subtracting the 16 from this, will give us x squared plus 8x by itself. So that's the first part of the expression dealt with. So x squared plus 8x is equal to this expression here, and I want that plus 3. So I've got x plus 4 in a bracket, all squared, minus 16 plus 3. And then the last bit to tidy up is this minus 16 plus 3. So that is going to give me a minus 13 here. And my final answer in completed square form is x plus 4 squared minus 13. Now let's try another one. So write the following in completed square form, and the expression is x squared plus 4x minus 5. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the x squared plus 4x. I know I want to halve this x term, so I get x plus 2 all squared inside the bracket, minus 2 squared, and then minus 5. So that's x plus 2 in a bracket all squared, minus 4 minus 5, giving me a final answer of x plus 2 squared minus 9. Now in these examples, we have a negative x term. So that means I will have x minus 4 in the first bracket, all squared. Let's just expand that again to see how it's different when the term is negative. So x minus 4 all squared is x squared minus 8x plus 16. So even though this number inside the bracket is negative, you still end up with a positive number here, because squaring any number, whether it's positive or negative, gives you a positive result. So we still need to subtract the 16 at the end. So I've got x minus 4 in a bracket, all squared, minus 16, and then plus 9. So my final answer is x minus 4 in a bracket, squared, minus 7. Now here's one for you to try. So press pause to have a go at this one yourself, and then press play when you're ready to check your answer. So inside the bracket, you should have got x minus 9, and then that bracket is squared. Then you had to take off the 81, which is the 9 squared, and then minus 10. And that simplifies to x minus 9 squared minus 91.